I'm not so sure if it's going to work to what I like, so let's see and hope and pray that it will. It's Hello everyone, this is me, this is BA, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And if you're seeing a notification bell, please hit that as well. You'll be notified if ever I have new videos for you. For this week, what I'm going to share with you are the things that we did on the first week of homeschooling. Yes, we already started last week, and maybe some of the tips that I could share with you, maybe you can lift some of those and use that as well. But of course, just a disclaimer, what works for us might not work. You really have to experiment a little bit and see which ones will work best for you and your kids. Now, a little bit of backstory, right? Homeschooling, and I'm sure most of you are talking about this for quite some time because things are changing. Even the education is changing, and I believe most of us, most if not all, will be doing homeschooling, whether it's online, blended, or the homeschooling the traditional homeschooling that I actually chose. It's been years that I was eyeing for this learning approach because I really want to have a van and go around the country and take my kids with me, and at the same time I still want to maximize education. And so that was my plan. But of course, here in the Philippines, the idea is not really popular. It's not really welcomed, and I guess it was just now that more people are welcoming because of course of the pandemic. But yes, it was a perfect time for me to really urge my parents to let me do homeschool for my kids, okay? And if you are going to do the homeschool, the traditional homeschool I'm talking about, where you will be teaching your kids, please comment down below and let the community know what you're doing right now so we can help each other, okay? The reason why my parents were not as welcoming, or even my friends were not really open to the idea, is because they were thinking about the social skills that may be lacking when people do homeschool. But I've been doing research lately, and I realized that social skills can actually be better when taken outside of the school, because you will meet a lot of people. Your kids will be street smart. That was my perspective. But of course, we cannot really impose our beliefs, and so I respect that. But then again, as people are trying to research more about the benefits of homeschooling, they are now seeing the benefits and they're open to the idea already. While I am emotionally ready for homeschooling because I've been wanting this for the longest time, right? I must say that I wasn't physically ready because I have to juggle a lot of things like work, my chores, and then lessons. I do not want to jeopardize the quality of education that I will give my kids, and so it was really hard for me to process everything. And that is why I took things slowly. Well, a lot of my friends who are also first-time homeschoolers, or their kids are first-time homeschoolers rather, they said it's overwhelming, and I did too. I said it is overwhelming seeing all the lessons. How am I going to cramp it? How am I going to teach these to my kids? I also have to relearn it as well. But my technique was that I took things piece by piece. By the way, I enrolled my kids at Peniel, and they have been very helpful. As of the moment, it's August 16th, right? And the books are not yet with us, but we can still start. You know why? Because they have a lot of resources which you can find in their portal. And in their portal, you can find the links and even the presentations which can help you kickstart your home learning or homeschool journey. That I would really commend. If you're looking for a homeschool, they still have until August 30 if you want to enroll. Or maybe you can consider this institution the next year. Okay, for those who are asking, is it cost efficient? Well, in my case, the former school of my kids, it's actually more convenient and more economical compared to Peniel because I think they're in Cainta and we're in Laguna, like far Laguna, and the cost of living is quite low. I'm not so sure if that matters, but I paid more when I enrolled my kids to Peniel. But considering that I do not have to pay for monthly baon, monthly service, or monthly activities, I thought it was really a great deal. I didn't pay in cash, right? But I paid around, together with the books for my two kids, I spent roughly around 35,000. And then every quarter, I still have to pay 6,000 for both of my kids. So if I'm going to sum it up, I think per student, it will be around less than 30,000. So I think that's decent enough, of course. But do not compare it with the cost when you go to public, of course, right? So it's relatively cheaper. I cannot say that it's too too low or it's too high. It really depends. And yes, challenging din naman siya sa akin dahil I'm working on my own right now. It's really hard to manage the budget. The reason why I love Peniel was because of their portal nga. Yung portal kasi nila parang complete package na I do not have to really ask other parents what I'm going to do because it's already there. The syllabi, the lessons, and yung links nila, hindi lang basta nakalagay yung links that you have to click on, but instead, it's categorized per chapter. So for example, ang first or second lesson ng kids ko ay rounding off. Yung links based on the lesson, andun nakalagay. The title or the description or rather yung presentation are labeled correct. Easier than me just looking for my own resources, additional resources for my kids. Since their official start is on August 24, sabi ko nga gusto kong to take things slowly and to, condition my kids that they are about to go to school and our home is now their school. The schedule that they propose as well, I think about 2 to 3 subjects per day. But as of the moment, what I try to do is I teach them 1 subject per day just to get a hang of it. Hindi ako at sila ma-overwhelm, but instead, okay, this is how it goes. And at the same time, I can also gauge what teaching style I will give to my students. I am not new to teaching. I've been a trainer for quite some time right now, but of course it is a different thing when you teach kids. Very basic yung principles, even the humor is different, so that is why I also have to relearn these things. Before the classes started, I also did a preparation which you can see on my other video. Download all the materials from the portal, all the presentations, and I printed the syllabi so that I will be guided what lessons we already covered. And it's really helpful. Like for example, even if I can do the highlighting part online or through my computer, it's easier for me to just have an upfront copy of the syllabi and see which lessons we've already finished. So maybe you can do that as well. You do not have to print all the presentation. It's going to be really costly. It's your discretion. But in my case, I just present it using my computer. And if there are activities or PDFs, then I would just have my kids copy it on their notebook. They're also practicing their writing skills. Which reminds me, before I started the class, I also bought around 6 notebooks and I allowed them to choose which notebook is for that particular subject. So they also have this accountability, liability, whatnots, even at the very early age. Even yung mga simple things, I give them control. Also, if you have like old crayons, you do not have to buy a new one. We have this big plastic container with all the broken crayons and we can still use it as well. So it's, I'm saving a lot of money. And I have the rim of bond paper, so if they're a little bit bored or if they want to do arts on the side, then that is something that they can. Before I jump into teaching them math or science or the major subjects that most of us do, allowed them to do arts first because I felt that it was more engaging and I really need to condition them. This year is going to be fun, so that was my first step. Maybe you can do that too. I asked them to just write, what things did you do over the quarantine? And they were enjoying the activity. And I said, okay, but tomorrow we're going to have a harder class. It's going to be math. I am not good in math, but given the presentation, given the links, I was already, trying to recall the lessons that I had before, and at the same time, my kids are learning. Now I'm going to share with you some of our milestones or achievements for the week. I realized you can really see the development of your kids, and you can focus, or you can tell if they are understanding the lessons or not. It was really amazing that my son and my daughter were able to get their lessons right away and even said that they already taught me this back in school but I wasn't really sure about it before. And right now, they can do it seamlessly. I am not blaming the school, by the way. It's just that, of course, when you're teaching, say for example, 25 students, it will be hard for you to have a one-on-one session with someone who's having a bit of a challenge for that particular lesson, right? But with homeschool, and if you're able, at least you'd know how to correct your kids and how to give them some techniques, shortcuts, and able to explain the concepts pretty well. I know that it could test your patience when you teach. Parang ang sarap minsang, ano ba? Why can't you get this? I do have that feeling as well. Whenever I have that urge to just walk away, I just do breathing exercises and I still go back to my reason why I wanted them to do homeschool. It's because I want them to enjoy more of their time, right? And if I'm going to be a momster, yes, if I'm going to be a momster, they will have an impression that I'm going to be really strict, or study time will be not boring, but they're going to have this fear. But that's just not the concept that I would want them to embrace. Instead, I want them to learn, because that's what's gonna help them improve, right? A good thing about this is that they're not competing with other people, but instead they're competing with themselves. And if they want to improve, they have to cross-check where they're at right now. Anyway, I guess that's about it. I'm just going to have a quick run through. Prepare slowly. Do not get overwhelmed with all the materials. If you can download the materials or like organize the lessons right away, then do so. And you can take it slowly. I am planning to do a 2-subject session next week. And I think by August 24, early part of September, I could, be on track and follow the schedule that Peniel requires us to do. But so far, so good. I am very impressed with how they respond to my inquiries. I'm just waiting for their books, and I think it's going to be delivered maximum 2 weeks from now. If you are in Peniel, or if you enrolled your kids there, please let me know so we can be friends on Facebook, share our knowledge, and maybe once this pandemic is over, we can see each other and have activities for our kids. I'd see you soon, and bye-bye!